Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Namakatok ni se fumweka wewe. Namolebe se fumwa flechedi. Namokade anse ukafwela mukaklewe. Leo pale jamweka kute. Se fumwa fleche, se fumwa kaavi. Tout ça vous pour moi, pani la vie. C'est vous moi me toucher, c'est vous moi la vie. Tout ça vous pour moi, pani la vie. Hey, c'est ça. Oh, 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 oh. L'autre tient moi j'ai négligé. Et l'autre me qu'à chercher. En vous pour faire moi happy. De vous moi choisir, de vous moi trouver. Ça pour faire, pour tuer au fond. Ça pour faire, il me ça besoin. Tuer à moi c'est ça, l'amour c'est ça. Ça me dit c'est ça, l'amour c'est ça. C'est comme ça.
Good evening and welcome back to a second episode of the second season of Dissect. Of course, I go by the name of Novelist, and I got two beautiful people with me. We got beautiful Miss Haiti. Miss Nika is with us. What's up, Nika?
Hey, what's up? How's
What's going on?
everything?
You good?
Yes, I'm good.
Nice. And of course, we have, my man Kaza with me. I'm not going to call Kaza beautiful, but Kaza, what up? What's wrong with your mic, sir? Look like you're muted there for a second. I don't know why you're muted.
Threw me off. You threw me off with that. You give thanks for the handsome comment all the same, man. Citations
Hey,
to everybody listening.
I never said nothing about you being handsome. All right. So
It's
yeah, man,
evident.
it's season 2, episode 2. We have a special guest in the building that we'll bring on in the next 9 minutes or so. You know what I mean? But guys, I wanted to touch on last week quickly before we bring in our next guest. Very interesting conversation we had with Mr. Gordon last week, don't you guys think?
Very educational from my point of view, for sure.
Indeed. Some topics he touched, had me. I got a few text messages and a few phone calls. I guess we will touch on that with Cornell as well, right? On some of these things I got. He made a point about the bouillon music being so fast and everything, and a lot of people actually got back to me on that and saying that there is groovy bouillon, and maybe it's not out there like that. What do you guys think about that though, Kaza? Like, what do you think about that?
Reality. I think is the best way I'm gonna hit it. It's just reality. I think he was speaking a lot of truth. I mean, he made a lot of us uncomfortable, but for even I myself as a disc jockey, it wasn't only educational, but um, I felt he was saying what I didn't say internally for a while, honestly, to a degree.
Yeah.
Concerning the fitting of, especially as a DJ, like fitting of your crates and these things, right?
Hmm.
Like I say, you can't keep people on one tempo all the time, right?
So
So
you
he made a
so
good point. He made a good point in breaking down that you need the temperate vibes or the moderate
yeah,
vibes in between, right?
but yeah, he did make some good points, and there are times when I think the music is way too fast and it could be slowed down. um One of the things, and when people come on here, you don't really want to disrespect them. You want them to tell their side of the story,
Yeah.
and then you could dissect it your own way, right?
That's what
um
Dissect is about, for sure.
yeah. So, he made a comment, and I did not want to interrupt him when he said, it's well, it sounded like bouillon music is just fast paced from the beginning till now, and I'm not 100% on that because WCK, First Serenade, um, even the band from Posse back in the 90s. The name just slipped my head there for a second.
Ceramics.
Ceramics. They all had groovy. Even Effects had a groovy booyah as well, right? I mean, the jumpy stuff will always stand out because we're Dominicans. We like to party. We like to drink. We like to get on. So, but I don't totally agree on you know the fact that he says everything is just up tempo, but yeah, we do need to slow down a little bit, right? So, Nika, you ready for the week or what?
I am. Let's get this thing started.
All right, all right. You sound. I hear I hear some energy there. um,
Ooh.
you
Energy.
got. You guys go ahead and make sure you subscribe to Islands Therapy on Facebook if you haven't done that yet. Um, Follow Islands Therapy on Facebook and YouTube. So subscribe to Islands Therapy on YouTube, and of course TDN Network. Make sure you follow that, and on Facebook as well too. All right. So make sure you guys do that. We're gonna get to our guests very very soon. I know some people are in there and they ready and ready and ready. Kaza, well, I guess later on you'll be taking some little Facebook comments and stuff
Yeah, we
because
see, we encourage people, we encourage you, any questions
yeah.
outside there.
Well,
Give it to
well,
us. Give us the vibes.
the guest we have today, they're gonna have a lot of questions for him. Um, we're not gonna make it typical like the rest of the stuff that you guys watch. We are gonna touch some interesting topics. What I like about our guest, he's not shy to speak his mind. Um, he has given me a very hard time back in the 90s. I don't know if you remember that, but I'll bring it up in the interview as well. So I've been waiting since 1997, 98 to pay him back.
Oh wow, that's a long time.
That's petty, right?
Extremely, extremely. You ensure and you ensure that you have a whole platform waiting to pay.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
very petty.
If,
Like
if,
I don't know if Nike on board with that, but I monitor it
I
from
am
the side
definitely.
with a close eye.
so yeah,
Yeah,
keep your good eye on the prize, right?
yeah.
Right,
But
right.
no, we have to yeah, you got to be very interested, and there's some stuff I'm gonna touch. um you know he's gray now, so you might not remember a lot of stuff. But
Oh my god, you have some dirt on him. Oh wow.
no, no, no,
No,
no, no,
that's not
that
how we should
I'm
introduce
just
we're not.
kidding.
No, no, no,
our
no, no.
guests. Sorry.
One thing with that next guest, I will tell you. He doesn't know that, but he's about to find out. Played a major, major impact on my life without him being in my life. So there's no dirt throwing there, right? No,
It's
it's
a
not.
metaphor. It doesn't mean actually bad thing.
Well, we're gonna make it as clean as possible, right, Nika?
Right.
Right. Kaza,
Not
anything interesting going on in the world that you probably want us to know about before we go into our guest?
No, no, we irie. We
We,
irie
we,
for this evening,
we
folks.
Ari, you sure?
Yeah, we irie.
I, I mean, there's things you've been hinting on all week, you know.
Too much fly out the closet thing. I can sing. Love Bob Marley. Yes, I. Words of truth, eh? Yes, I. All that brave
Oh,
and thunder. What you mean?
oh my God. So
No,
again,
too much things come out in there. I don't know. It's been a week of too many things, man. We can't go
yeah,
and touch on one thing. We're gonna lean into our guest and you know give him the proper introduction he needs to and let's get into
because
it. I
this
think
will
I
be.
think there's too much. That is like a whole different. Let's just don't go there with them.
Oh, so you could tease. It's all right for you to tease me all week with this, but now it's time for us to put it out there, and you're like, you don't want to
No,
go there. Boy, it's
all I
all
can
good.
say, Bob Marley, man.
Love
Brilliant
Bob
sphere.
Marley.
Yes, I.
Well,
Rockers edition. Roots rock reggae.
well, Nike is ready to throw some dirt. I am ready to be petty and say, yeah, I'm paying you
Yeah.
back. Kaza is ready to be shy and pull back and just
No, we're not
watch
gonna
the,
be
the
shy.
watch the
If we
vibe.
have a few minutes, we don't go in and be shy. You know, if we don't go in and be shy, I just be okay. We can't be real. It's just too much fly out. It's like, I don't know. We calling it a fly out of the closet week kind of thing. Like all of a sudden we have young reggae artists coming on the scene and they into the LGBTQ thing. I'm not too sure if that is what I want the next generation to
Now,
really
now
be
you want to
into.
talk about it. Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
don't really want to talk about it
Anyways,
because we have a beautiful guest for everyone tonight on the
yes, we
East and
do.
the West Coast and the South
Yes, we
Coast. So
do.
we don't go
Yes,
now
we
worry
do.
about that.
And this next guest we have with us for the second season, the second episode, man, like you can't kick it off better. He's a
Full of
pioneer.
accomplishments.
He's
Full of
a
accomplishments.
engineer, a producer, songwriter, singer.
Mhm.
What else? Mr. Cornell
Yeah.
Phillips. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dissect.
We should get a round of applause. Can we get a round of
Having me,
applause in the
man.
background? We have that sound
oh,
effect. Thank you, Nike. Thank you. Appreciate that.
What's going on, Cornell?
I just there, man. Taking it easy. Taking it
Nice,
easy as usual. Thanks
nice,
for
nice.
having me. Thanks for having me.
Thank.
When I got the invitation about 2 months ago, I was like, sure. I mean, why not? I haven't
Right.
spoken to Novi one on one for a while, so
In a
hey,
very long time. In a very, very long time.
we'll probably
But
send a message every now and then. But yeah, we
yeah,
haven't spoken in a while.
that's correct. Like I said, I'm gonna be petty tonight.
Eh,
But it's not a big deal. But all in all, man, we know you in the States now, and you've been there for a few months now
right.
doing the tours and thing. How is that
Yeah.
treating you over there?
Well, I mean, it didn't start off as a long-term tour, but because of COVID and what Dominica has to offer for the entertainment industry, right now we saw it fitting that we'll just exhaust our time up here and see what we can do for ourselves. And
All right.
it's been working out so far.
Yes, so far so good. I see
Uh,
you guys did a lot of gigs already, and you guys have some more lined up um
Yeah,
for
yeah.
this month
And
actually.
yeah, actually next month, the 11th.
I
The
was
11th.
about to say,
The
yeah, I was
11th,
just
yeah,
about
the
to say.
Okay.
11th.
And we
There
talk.
was supposed to be something at the ending of the month, but it fell
Yeah.
through. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yep.
I mean, we could do it. We were blessed with the opportunity of doing our stuff virtually, and so when virtual means anywhere,
Right.
so we took advantage of that whole situation.
Of course. And that's not really where I wanted to start, but seeing that you brought up the virtual, I mean, we might as well just go there. How did this all started? Like what brought this up?
Um, it wasn't anything that was planned. To be
Okay.
honest, we were at home, Colin and myself were at home quarantine like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes, sir.
you get to that point where you really sitting down in the same space in this, the same room, it kind of gets to you after a while.
Yes.
So one Sunday I told Colin, just go live, just go live, and then we started our first one. We had technical issues, this and that,
Right.
you know. But it was so well appreciated that people asked for us to do it the following week.
Mm-hmm.
So we deliberated and we said, okay, yeah, just let's do it again. And it originally started off because everything in life you do it for a purpose.
Right.
So our purpose was to disseminate the COVID-19, um, well, not protocols at the time because we didn't really have protocols, but the hotlines and stuff like that, just promoting what the COVID task force had to say,
Right.
and we were really for it because we could see what was happening the world over and we saw it as musicians, as people that look up to what we have to say. Our word would be powerful in that regard. So
Right.
that is what our main focus was. But people so loved the music and they asked us if we could do it the following week.
Right.
Then we did it for the second week and then they said, wow, that's so nice. How can we support you? Or what can we do? And so on. And then we got the idea and then we just continued. And the focus wasn't on the donations per se. The donations was a spill off. Our main
Oh,
focus was to really get therapy for us.
right.
At the time, it wasn't called musical therapy, but it was therapy for us. It is
Mm-hmm.
a scheduled program for us to do every Sunday afternoon. So
Right.
it's something to look up to and also equally beneficial to the audience that we were getting to.
Right.
So it just started to build and build, and after we started to be creative, Colleen wanted to be creative, and she started the themes, and then we decided to do the Zoom elements, and it just
That's
started to grow and grow and grow. So what started off as probably less than 100 viewers ending up in thousands of viewers,
Right.
and then we were trying to see how we could get to the maximum people. So we started to do cross-platform, and
Right.
then developed into a sponsorship kind of a vibes with partners, business, local businesses as well as foreign businesses, and the opportunity just fell in our laps, and we just ran with it.
That is amazing. And the viewership, like, I see every Sundays, it's either it remains high in numbers or it exceeds the previous
Right,
week.
right.
So
And we actually stream on three, constantly stream on three different platforms.
right.
We stream on Carlin XP's YouTube page,
Hmm.
Carlin XP's Facebook page, and also Digicel's Facebook page.
Right.
And collectively, it really adds up. It's amazingly rich. This virtual world is so vast. It's
Amazingly
amazing to see
rich.
the people that we reach out to, and I mean the testimonials we have had, and the family that we have built is
Right.
not. It is a fan base, but we more look at them as
Family.
family,
Yeah. Because they with you
because
guys every Sunday anyway.
right, and and it's not. We are open. Like, if they want to get in contact with us, it's easy to get in contact with us. They
Right.
have our email, they have our Facebook message, they have our WhatsApp, and they can come to us. I mean, I don't know how long we can keep that up because it's really overflowing right now. And with social media, the more the more of a presence you have on social media, the more junk
Yeah, for
you
sure.
get and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So every day we have like over 100, sometimes over 500 messages to go through. And a
Wow.
lot of it is
Let me ask you.
if you want to build a website and this and that. So sometimes it's really difficult to get through everything. And for the
Right.
people who are listening and we have not gotten back to you, we apologize. But
Before
just
before you
like the
continue, Vital, before you continue, you think you can change the mic to be a little bit closer to your mouth? Because
okay,
we I don't think we hearing you as clear even on the outside as we want to.
okay. Let me just. This is something I just borrowed.
But you starting to
Hopefully
sound
some, yeah,
you
some
start to sound way better right now.
Okay, so
So continue from where you are now. Thanks.
all right, so
Yes, sir. Yes.
we really look at the fan base as our virtual friends,
right,
Hmm.
and we treat them as such. A lot of them we have gotten to know them very well without even meeting up with them. And we really appreciate that. They appreciate us as well as we appreciate them.
right.
And that
Connected,
is important.
connected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So musical therapy sounds like Dissect started the same way, like musical therapy. Just get up and let's go live, and here we are today. So, but my next question, I know it did not start that way. So
Right.
we're gonna go back to the beginning, and where does the inspiration come from for music for you? Like to become one of the greatest, not just keyboardists, but I'll start there. One of the greatest keyboardists, in my time in Dominica, and also one of the greatest producers and engineers. So where did the inspiration start? I guess keyboard would be the first love. So let's start there.
I come from a family of 11 siblings. I am the last.
Right.
The majority of us played.
Mm-hmm.
So it was inevitable that I would follow that same trend. I would follow that same train. You know, um, like I was born into it. It wasn't something that I heard and I was interested in it. I was just born into it. From the time I came into the house, I guess music was all around me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, we always had a piano in the house, and I can remember sitting on my brother's lap, Irvin. I was
Right.
sitting on his lap and I was playing music with him, and I can remember singing "Lately" by Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
That I mean, it was just in the house.
Right.
So I started playing, and I eventually was sent to music school by my sister Valina later.
Okay.
She had a hard time with me.
Hmm.
Reason being because of the informal training that I had by just having music all around me. I
Right.
was very good by playing music by ear,
But
at
yeah.
playing music
Okay.
by ear. So even my music pieces, I would learn my music pieces, and within probably two practices,
Right.
with my music teacher, I would memorize the song, and then I'd play the song, and then I would. The problem with that is, according to your mood, you play according to the mood that you're in.
Right.
And in music, the music sheet has something called expressions.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always skip the expressions and just play how I felt.
Right.
If I was angry at the time, I'd play more aggressively.
Right.
If I was in a timid mood, I'd play softly and stuff like that. And she would always tell me, expressions, your expressions, your expressions,
Hmm.
And I was eventually sent to Kyrie School of Music, and I lasted 2 weeks.
Wow.
Because
That
Mrs. Sorrento called my sister and said that, yeah, she, because of the same
the
playing by
same
ear
thing.
thing,
Right.
and probably my sister accepted it because she was my sister. She wasn't too happy about it. I got enough rulers on my knuckles,
Hmm.
but Mrs. Sorrento couldn't do that.
Right.
That's nice.
So it was, I mean, it wasn't any. I just wanted to do me, and I understood what was happening.
Right.
And by that time, I was in high school, and I met. I guess we'll get into that. I met Keith, and I would play for the school tea parties and stuff like that. Even my detentions was learning this song for graduation,
Wow.
for the upcoming graduation. You know, so
That's nice.
music was always around me. Music was
Right.
always around me. So that's where I started really.
So,
Nice.
so they use music to punish you, but that's not punishment for somebody who actually loves music, is it?
Well, I mean, sometimes you want to play with your friends too, eh?
That is true. That is true.
You know, and being good at something doesn't necessarily mean you want to do it all the time. I mean, it's a
That
Saturday morning and I'm at detention.
right.
Right.
Good, Nika. So I don't really want to linger there too much, but yeah, the next step would be WCK. So I'm taking it
Right.
you probably went to school with Keith because he's probably around your age, right?
Yes.
And
Keith and I actually met before we met in school
okay,
because Keith Keith family house was in Monbrose, Lower Monbrose,
okay,
and our family house was in Bath Road.
mm,
So it was like 5-10 minutes for the most minute
yeah,
walk,
walk, yeah,
you know. And then Simeon Joseph was a very good friend, is a very good friend to Irvin,
right,
you know,
hmm,
and they would always be at each other's houses, and Irvin would take me there, and he would come down to Bath Road. He would go up to Monbrose,
right,
and we started to vibes,
That's
right,
and also the Joseph family, is a very musical family, very
right,
musically talented family, so that that natural interest and the age,
hmm,
Keith and I have the same age, and we started to bond,
right,
and then we actually met in third form, I believe, third form in SMA. That's when we met in
right.
school, in school.
Okay.
nice.
All right. So we gonna move for a little forward, but still back there. Um, I want to say 1987 or 88. That's when that's when we actually heard of WCK, right?
Right.
Um, what was it like, or do you even remember having you guys' first performance as a band? Like if I don't know, maybe however among the people that was in front of you guys.
As a band, WCK, or as a band?
No, as well. Well, yeah, as a band, I guess. So,
No,
so
that's not.
Because
This is a valid question, Colonel has. Let's just say as a
yeah.
band. And Novelist is making an honest point. I think he was hinting into something that I was going to lean into because
Hmm.
doing the past interviews in season one, and I know you've been an avid fan of the show, right?
Right, right,
Listening
right.
to listening to a band like say RSB, for example. Um, I did not realize, and you and I both know my history with RSB in
Mhm.
family terms,
Right.
right? I didn't realize certain of the accomplishment or accolades that came between in the time, because even talking to them behind the scenes and after the interview, they were highly, I would say, what's the word I'm looking for? Was they use Cornell was one of the best engineers in our time. Cornell could hear something, as you were just saying, Cornell could hear something and just go and reverse engineer it. So please enlighten us and
Right.
take us through
Well,
as you come in, like you say, it was food form is a band, but you have so much of this inspiration before you. You have Kadas, which was before you, right? So
right,
let's just
right,
leave the
right.
CK for a while because no people would say CK come out and they want to be a jam band thing, no. But as a band, as you as a musician, talk to us. You check it, man. Yeah.
um, when Keith and I met in third form, that is when we really started to play out together, and that history goes very deep, but I'll try
Hmm.
to make it short.
Yeah,
Um,
of course.
my next brother, Ashton Phillip, had a song system called Synchronic Song System.
mhm,
And He is the one who bought Keith his first bass guitar. Irvin bought me my first keyboard, and Ashton bought Keith his first bass guitar. And when we got that guitar, we found the guitar looked funny, and we were trying to figure out what is wrong with this thing. And that's when we realized that it was a fretless guitar. We knew nothing about instrumentation. Ashton didn't know nothing about instrumentation, but we got this fretless guitar. And Keith used to fiddle around on the acoustic guitar. So when he got that, it was like, okay, it was it seemed to be a challenge. But he quickly picked up the guitar and started to play, and he started to learn on a fretless bass. And even before that, I mean, friends around. You have friends, you go by other friends and stuff. And I remember Keith and I used to get hold of this little Casio keyboard. And if you know these Casio keyboards, it has like bass on one end and synth part, bass on the left side and synth or keyboard or something on the right side.
Right.
And then you have a little accompaniment, built-in beats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Richard Astafan is the one who had that keyboard. And we used to go by him, and we just used to. Keith was actually a keyboardist before he became a bass player. So Keith would be on the bass end, and I would be on the lead end.
Right.
And then there was a juggle. There was a juggle on the drum machine where you could, in the middle of a beat, you could just switch.
Okay.
And then we actually started. We actually made Caribbean beats by just juggling through the bossa nova, samba, and stuff like that to make that kind of a beat, And we destroyed many keyboards, that wasn't even ours, But thank you, Richard Astafan, for understanding. Thank you, Mrs. Astafan, for taking us to your home and having us destroy your son's keyboard. But, so it was that kind of vibe. Keith and I on the keyboard and synchronic song system playing for the tea parties at SMA and stuff like that. And we started to do our stuff at SMA playing tea parties. Keith and I actually played publicly first at a tea party in SMA.
Okay.
We also did, and around that time also we did like private parties, weddings, and stuff like that. It was thrilling to the people who heard us. Right. It was thrilling to the audience because at that time, the song system had totally taken over the music scene in Dominica. The only working band at the time was Swinging Stars, and it was seasonal only during the carnival season.
Right.
There was Serenade and RSB there also, but at that time when we came up, they were kind of dwindling, already.
Right.
So we're talking about sounds in the time, just to let the people know from Dominica, like Wadi Kole or Wadix, coming from that era.
Wadi Kole, A&M song system, synchronic song system. That was like the thing. Every November 4th, you people wondering which song system they're going to jump up to.
Yes.
And then you're seeing this line of speakers under where my Charles used to live. That's where Scientific Rose would be.
Yeah.
Wadi Kole would be on, where's that place? By around where Jay's bookstore is right now. Wadi Kole would be in that road there. A&M would be on, what's the name of the street? That street going out of Roseau,
Yeah,
and there's like, that was the thing at the time, and if we were not playing on synchronic song system, Synchronics never really used to go out on the road per se,
right?
As much as A&M and stuff. But A&M, Ayub and Michelle Rafoul, they would. Ashton was very good friends with them, and we were able to go on their platform
Right.
Okay.
and perform and enjoy ourselves and stuff like that on their
Nice.
speakers and thing, and that's so we had a lot of experiences before we actually came
With WCK.
to WCK because Irvin, my brother, he was also part of a band which Ra and Walkers were part of. And
Oh, okay.
that band had kind of gone down.
Right.
And then when
Okay.
he heard us, he invited us to Ra's house. And
Okay.
in a nutshell, we decided to see what we could do, bring a band together and stuff like that. So that is where the WCK movement really
Started.
started off. Yeah,
Okay.
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
And then you guys would go on years after to create a music that we all enjoy today called Booyah music.
Puyo.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right. So you didn't just only did Booyah music, and obviously you are one of the originators of Booyah music.
No.
No.
I remember in 19, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going to say 97. I mean,
Right.
I not gray, but the age of death. um, I want to say 97. You came out with a Musicano album. I think that was the first year of the World Music Creole Festival. Am I correct?
Yeah, man. Beautiful album.
Was
Well,
it the first year? I cannot remember if it was the first year, but it was 1997.
Yeah, around there.
1997 was the
Yeah,
first Music Annual album.
right.
I don't think it was the first. It was the first Creole
Creole
festival though.
No, all right. Maybe I'm
I could
wrong.
be wrong, but it was very early. It was very
Yeah,
early in the game.
it
right.
sounds
Yeah,
like
it
it sounds like you had fun making it from where my ears stand. Trust me.
was.
I hadn't heard you sing for a while. So
Right.
it took me by surprise by that one. I'm not gonna lie to you, but that one was beautiful. And what was the process for you, man? Coming from you say booyah, we just say booyah, right? What was the process for
Uh,
you going back to what other people wouldn't probably realize your roots? You go back to some. You surprise me, Cornell. I mean, honestly.
um, I don't even know where to go. I don't even know where to pick up from because
Hmm.
it is, I mean, earlier when I was telling you that, we do have to dwell on the WCK part of it,
Right.
but
I
it
know.
is so that is where my history is. So we have to touch on it and then we'll move on, But when WCK first started, we were playing a lot of jam band, imagination brass, and stuff like that music. And even before that, me being classically trained, I was into R&B, hip hop. Um, I like the ballads, not the ballads of today, but the ballads like Whitney Houston and
Right.
Luther Vandross and stuff like that. Stuff with chord arrangements and a certain keyboard styling and things like that.
Mhm.
And that was my foundation. That was my musical foundation. Being classically trained, one, and also having the influences of um, music with melodies and chords and
Right.
structure and stuff like that. So I am. I think I am proud to say that I had a very good music foundation. And going into WCK allowed me to express that foundation in our local kind of a vibe,
Right.
you know. And the Booyah really started from I mean, as I said earlier, we were playing a lot of
Jam band stuff.
jam band stuff
Right.
and burning flames and things like that. And Daryl Phillip, another brother of mine, was involved. He was a cultural officer
Right.
in the cultural division, and he undertook a project where he was archiving the dances and music, the traditional dances and music of Dominica.
Hmm.
So he would take bands from all over the country, as far as Capuchin, Tukari, wherever. He would
Right.
bring them down to the house on Bath Road and he would record them. And Keith and I would be playing music, and Daryl being the older brother, he would tell us, "Yo, you'll need to stop because I'm doing my work."
Right.
you know. And we being troublesome, okay, well, we cannot play, but at least we can follow. We started to follow what they were playing,
Hmm.
and we started to put it into our own original material,
Right.
you know. And that is where the bouyon movement really started, you know. And Ra obviously had his input into the bouyon groove and the bouyon style,
Right.
his lyrics, you know, social commentary and stuff like that. So um, because if you listen to a lot of WCK stuff, well, yeah, a lot of WCK stuff,
Hmm.
you will hear the chord arrangements, you'll hear the intricacies of the arrangement and what it is that we were doing and stuff like that, you know.
Right.
And then when Martin came along with his voice and with
Mhm.
his
That
zouk
guitar
kind of a
boy.
vibes
Woo!
and thing, you know, and he created that unique style with the guitar in Bouyon and stuff like that. And all during that time is not only bouyon music. Bouyon music was just a part of my life, you know.
Right.
By that time in 19, when it was, well, we started off with home record, WCK Home Studios,
Right.
right, which is where we started to, we first recorded at Markov Studios, then we went to Nature Island Studio,
Hmm.
and then we formed our own studio called WCK Home
Home
Studio.
studio.
And
Right.
then in the mid 90s, I formed,
Imperial.
well, Imperial Publishing.
Right.
But, well, not me, but Eddie Angol and myself.
Oh, okay.
We formed Imperial Publishing, and it would be anything. I mean, any genre that came our way.
You're right.
It'd be reggae, it'd be novelists coming into the studio with
Yep.
clockers.
Hmm. That's my cue.
You know?
Uh,
So it was really the music was never just about bouyon. The music was music on a whole.
Right.
You know, I did gospel, I did name it,
Yep.
I did it. You
You know,
know,
to go back to the musical album, it was a different experience at that time when it came out because it wasn't just WCK. I think the Partners in Crime was coming around and
right,
Effects and all
right,
these
right,
other bands. So when that November time came, and we got that, there was this one. Well, there was two songs, but there's this one particular song, Jose Voe Mote,
right.
and no matter where you turn, that song was being played.
You
What?
know why?
No, please explain why.
You can remember I told you that, well, no, I didn't say it, but bouyon music is basically the modernization of our tradition, of Dominica's traditional rhythms,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
So if you listen to the structure, the music structure of that particular song, and even a song WCK did, you know, before Voe Mute, we actually sampled a Jimping band
Right.
and we used it as the bed of the music.
Mm.
You see, so we used the traditional and we incorporated the modern on top of it,
Right.
not below it.
Yeah. No.
You know, it was no longer the focus, but it was the bed.
Right.
So it was familiar to the older people,
Hmm.
yet fresh to
To
the
the new.
younger people.
Nice.
You know, so that is what I think that was the formula that created that success of
Right.
that song. You know, and I don't know, man. And during these times, their technology was, you know, music technology was in the middle of its development, you
Yes.
know, from analog to digital. And being part of that transition, it was an exciting time for us
Hmm.
working in the studio. You know,
Right.
WCK, even the calypsos and stuff like that. You know, and it was an interesting time. The 90s was a very interesting time for for Dominica's music, the development of Dominica's music.
Right.
I think the 90s was a very, very, very interesting time.
Indeed.
Not taking away from the Cadas era,
Right.
You know, the Kadas must have had its development days where it was golden.
Of course.
You know, but the 90s was another period of Dominica's music that was golden. You know,
Yes.
and I'm saying hello to Auntie Ophelia, who is on there, and I think she asked a question, who recorded the Jimping bands. The Jimping bands that I speak of, I actually recorded them. There were also recordings done by Markov Studios, the Jimping, and Ken Robinson also from Nature Island Studios also did a recording of the
Right.
Jimping. But the Jimping band I particularly speak of was the Girardel Jimping band.
Right.
You know, so I have been actually going to Girardel for a while without even knowing why. I was going to Girardel, you know, but the sample I speak of was a recording that I did for the Girardel Jimping band, and
Right.
it really amazed me. And up to this day, I would if I doing a song and I need that Jimping groove, I would call on to Dede from Gutter Village,
Oh yeah.
Gutter, well, not village, but Gutter
Water.
community.
Yeah.
And I'll tell him, yo, I need you. And he tell me, okay, after work, I'll come and check you. And he'll bring his gouache, his boom boom, his conch shell, his
Right.
tambal, his siak.
One man
And
band.
there we go.
One man band.
Yeah, you know, so I still try my best to keep that local, that traditional feel
Right.
in my music when it is needed. It's not to say I'll just put it aside, but I always try to keep the traditional in there.
Of course. And
Um, all right.
no, go ahead. Go ahead, Nika.
All right. Do you have any plans to collab with anybody outside of Dominica?
Yes, I mean, I have collaborated with a lot of people, you know. The the library is very, very, very vast. I mean,
Very.
I've done stuff for people. I've done stuff that people don't know about.
Okay.
You know, I'm not the one that would go and, you know, put out things out there because I'm
Right.
not the artist. But I've collaborated with a lot of engineers. I mean, in Barbados, I've done stuff for producers, even artists in Barbados,
Mhm.
in Antigua, in St. Lucia, in St. Vincent, in Trinidad. I've done a lot of stuff. I've done a lot of stuff. I've even produced for artists up here in the United States,
Right.
Oh,
you know, and singing R&B and rap, you know, hip hop and stuff, you know. But that is just I am just a paid musician. I'm just a session musician at that time,
Right.
you
right.
know.
So,
And even though I've sung on countless songs with WCK, Mizikanu, and stuff like that, I don't really consider myself a singer. So I don't market myself as a singer.
But that's the thing, Cornell. You were well. I wouldn't say were. You were a hell of a singer. I remember, the early CK things. In the Mopsy one was one more Sway's time.
Mhm.
A lot of the singing was done by you. A lot of people didn't know that, but a lot of the singing was done by you. And I like
yeah,
came
yeah,
95, come 1995. I wear two
yeah,
show album. I end the man on one song, Dominic, which is a beautiful song, but
very,
I
very good
know two,
rendition.
one and a half, because he was on bargain. But
The first WCK song I sang, the first ever recorded WCK song, Music Suite,
yes,
I sang and wrote that song. That
okay,
is the only song I've ever written for WCK. And
oh yeah, right.
yeah, the
So
music sweet, sweet, the music sweet, sweet.
yeah,
Yeah.
so the songs that you were singing, you were not the one writing them.
No, I
So
mean, I had a hand in it, but
right,
if you're talking about WCK, it would either be Irvin,
okay,
Ra,
okay.
Wackers.
Oh,
Well, actually, Wackers was in WCK, but funny enough, Wackers never actually recorded with WCK. From our
right.
first album, Wackers had already left to go study.
Okay.
Okay.
So he never actually recorded with us,
Mhm.
until recently when we started original Booyah
Booyah
Pioneers.
Pioneers. Okay.
Yeah, that's the first time Walker's really recorded with us.
Right.
But it, I don't know, it was just a time when I had to, if I
So,
had to sing, I had to sing. If
okay.
that was, that's the thing with me. If I will do whatever it takes to get the job done. So if that's
Right.
what it takes, that's what it takes.
Nice.
You know.
Let's stick in the 90s for just one more minute. We away from WCK because you came with the Musicano, but and you did mention Calypso as well. But there was a
Right.
Calypso album again, me and those years, boy, 97. I think the
Brotherly Brothers.
oh, I wasn't actually going there. So I guess you oh yes, you did produce Brotherly Brothers. I was going to the Hunters. I want to say something lollipop. The Carrie Bacchanal album.
Soca Lollipop.
Soca Lollipop. That's where I was headed. But yeah, Brotherly Brothers. Oh,
That is it. That is it. I
that was
did.
just
I think I did 3 albums of the Brotherly Brothers, which is a combination of Scrunter and Hunter.
and Hunter, right?
You know, and at the time, that was under the stepping stone for the development, you know, and the forward movement of Calypso, because when when Imperial Publishing, Eddie Angle and myself started to produce Calypsos,
Mhm.
we started to fuse the bouillon in there. You know,
Yeah,
so much to the
yes.
point that Calypsonians at first were not happy
Right.
with the fact that we were doing that. But then it got to the point that the same Calypsonians that were complaining about it, we actually won them crowns.
Yeah, right, right, right.
You know, so change, even though it's accepted, you're always going to have, you know, that negative,
Oh, for
you
sure.
know, and
Yes.
we understood that. And we even got that from Bouillon.
Right.
You know, you even got that from Bouillon music. But it was the 90s, as I say, was a pivotal time for music in Dominica. Calypso. I don't think that Calypso would be what it is today if we didn't make it Dominican, make it roots, make it
Put your
modern roots, I should say.
right. Put your own sound
You
into
know,
it.
put our own song, put the new Dominican song into the
Into it.
Calypso. I don't think Calypso would be where it is today
Mhm.
if that wasn't done.
And you know what? You're probably 100% right. Um,
Right.
I grew up, little boy here in Hunter and Scrunter. My favorite Scrunter song was Catholic. I don't know why, but I remember when you did that Hunter album with the Carrie Bacchanal, and that was another album that was just being played everywhere you go.
Right,
And
right.
and it almost came like it was in competition with the Booyah albums that was out at the time.
Because they were similar.
Right, that Booyah
You know, they
sound
could
in it.
relate to each other. You know, they could
Right.
relate to each other. But I will say I must say that when we speak of songs like Carrie Bacchanal or the Brotherly Brothers, you know,
Right.
Scrunter's hit days, the Breaks hit days,
Yep.
Yes, sir.
a lot of it was not only me, you know,
Okay.
but it was a collaboration between Eddie Angle and myself.
Right.
You know, even the Musicano stuff was a collaboration between Eddie Angle, myself, later Martin Dale Olive, later Pelham John Baptist from WCK, you know, so Michael Anderson,
Right.
because we have to understand too, you're having this interview with me, but without the collaboration, like you said, you know,
Right.
without the collaboration of others, both locally and regionally, I wouldn't be where I am today.
True.
You know, the Dominican music wouldn't be where it is today. Bouillon music wouldn't be where it is today. I couldn't have done it on my own.
Right.
And I have to give kudos to all those, not
Department.
helped, but all those who was part of that era, that development stage of Dominican music.
Right. And it's actually very nice to hear you say that because a lot of these guys don't get credit. I mean, don't get us wrong. WCK was the number one band, but you know, these other bands they helped contribute as well and did a hell of a job as well, right?
And you know, they didn't only help in the music, you know. You know, they didn't only help in the development of their music, but they also helped in development of me
Right.
as a person, in Keith as a person. I can remember Keith and I going to the RSB band house,
Right.
you know, and hoping we can get a sweat on the keyboard and the bass, you know. And even sometimes, you know, they were not too happy that we were wrong, taking, you know, wanting to take
Yeah.
from their time and stuff
Right.
like that, you know. So even Swinging Stars helped us out a lot too.
Mm.
I can remember we used to go to Grotto at the back of the old grammar school.
Grammar school, right?
You know, we used to go there and we used to set up their equipment and practice and stuff like that without them even knowing. You know? You know, so it wasn't they helped. They not
Right.
only helped in the development of the music, but they helped in the development of me as a
Right.
musician and as a person.
Nice.
Nice,
So,
nice.
like you said, you have touched every genre of music, going from R&B to booyah to kadas to calypso. You left Dominica, you went working Barbados with an artist, came
Yeah.
back and decided to start your own band, but you were not going to bring a booyah sound this time. You were going to do something. I don't even know how to describe Fanatic, because when I listen to Fanatic, I hear everything.
Okay. We have to backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
Because you have to understand the reason for Fanatic.
Okay.
My last years in WCK was very hard on two fronts. It was very hard on a personal front when it came to the interaction with the musicians.
Mhm.
And I do speak of Ra personally. I speak of Ra, Pelham, Keith,
Skinny,
my
everybody.
brother, Skinny, Dice, Nai, everyone at the
The
time.
entire
Right.
I
family at
mean,
the time.
we
Okay.
had, I mean, in every group you have your issues,
Right.
Yes,
Facts.
sir.
right? And
Yeah.
I am one that would be very, very, very outspoken. And I mean, I do consider myself the troublemaker. I consider myself to say it as it is.
Right.
You understand?
Mhm.
And
Yes, sir.
it didn't go down well with a lot of people. But I say what I say what I say,
Right.
you know, and I
Speak how
can
you
back
feel.
up what it is that I say.
Okay.
You know, so that was one. Then the other part of it is that since before I left school, I was in WCK. So it became a time where the repertoire was so vast
Mm.
that we would come to a song. And the thing is, every musician has a range that they sing in.
Mhm.
And Robbie, the lead singer of WCK, had his range.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So a lot of the WCK songs would be around there.
Right.
You
His
understand?
range. Okay.
Mhm.
And then it got to a point where I had to think. I see the song on the repertoire, but I trying to figure out which song is that.
Everything is a blur.
What do I have to play?
Right.
Everything was becoming a blur.
Blur. Yeah.
Mhm,
You know,
mhm.
and it's not to say we rehearse because it's our original material. By
Right.
that time, if you go to a WCK jam, it's WCK music you want to hear.
Yes.
You know,
Yes,
just
sir.
like today, if you go to a Triple K jam, is majority is Triple K music you're going to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, so we never practice per se new material unless if it was for an album. So things started to become a blur where the music and the repertoire, you know, and I just saw it as a wake up call. It was time to move on,
Take a break. Right.
right?
Mhm.
So when that happened, when I started to feel that way, I got that call from Rupee's management telling me he was looking for a keyboardist, and I immediately
sir.
jumped to it.
Right.
I immediately jumped to the opportunity. And I went to Barbados. I spent almost 2 years in Barbados with Rupi, and then I came back to Dominica. Now WCK had already moved on, so it's not to say I can't. Well, I didn't want to say I'm back and I want my position back. That didn't make sense.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so that part of the music industry was already saturated with WCK. First Serenade was what. I'm not too sure if RSB was still there. Probably you can help me out.
RSB was actually on the way out already. No, they were actually gone by then.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you had Swinging Stars, who was not just a carnival band, but they were a band, for the whole year.
Right.
And I decided I needed to do something different, and I didn't want to go back in that thing of going to play, starting to play at 2 o'clock and daybreak. I get into my house. Yo, I had enough. My time passed.
Yeah.
So I got this idea that, hey, why not make a band that can cater for the bars, the softer side of things.
Right.
And I told myself I want to know that I can go and play for the president, early in the evening, and go and play another loud party in the night.
Right, later, right.
Nice.
Nice.
So that is when I decided to form Fanatic. And the whole reason for forming Fanatic is to cater for every single, occasion, every situation, it'd be a wedding, a private party, a jam, or whatever, So that is where Fanatic came about.
Nice.
And I was listening to some stuff of Fanatic. I was listening to Selector Urban last night.
Okay.
On his live last night, and he played some Fanatic stuff, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And we those shots, we had some good times. We had some very, very, very good gigs.
Right.
And very good experiences, I must say.
Yeah, and the band was pretty much all professional members from, I guess, different bands around that.
Yes, well, the band went through members from Impromptu. It went through members from even RSB.
RSB, right?
For Serenade. But I was a bit biased in the sense that I wanted seasoned musicians.
Right.
And then I was told by one of my friends, one of my advisors, that you were young too. You were young too, Cornell. So just like you were given a chance, you have to give others a chance also. Right. And it's not that I didn't want to give others a chance, but I just wanted to. I just wanted a set of musicians around me that were professional and I could depend on.
Right.
I soon found out that it is not necessarily bringing in mature musicians that would create that, but it would be the environment you create around them.
True.
So I started working with musicians. One of the first thing, young musicians, one of the first thing I told them is that I'm a person of time. I try my best to be on time. If you can't be on time, call me, tell me what is happening. Let me know what I'm getting myself into, and then we'll deal with it.
Right.
And I can safely say all musicians that I have worked with, I just enjoy working with them in the sense that we get things done. We have an issue, we talk about it, we have this to do, we get it done. And working with people like Froggy and Ordell and Carlene before she was Carlene XP, so many young musicians, and it's great that I can depend on them as well as they can depend on me.
Right.
You know, and it wasn't only about it wasn't fun. From the get-go, it was not fun, it was business.
Right.
Right.
When we on stage, we enjoying ourselves. But leading up to the stage, there was no such thing as kicks off.
Yeah.
I mean, even today, Colin will tell me, Cornell, you need to ease up.
I know that. I
You
know. I know
know?
that feeling. I know that feeling all too well. Trust me. I know that
But
feeling all too well. Yeah.
especially when you're working for yourself, there's little room for slackness. You know,
Yes.
you have to be the best because I mean, it's me. Well, just putting it like that, it's me against the world.
Right.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
you have to make sure that you're on top of your game at all times. And being at the top of my game meant that I needed serious, professional-minded musicians and fellow workers,
Right.
co-workers around me.
But then that also can have an ego issue as well, right? Because you bring in different people that.
There, we had our issues,
Right.
but then I also had that in the equation.
Right.
You know, you expect these things, so you prepare
Yeah.
for these things.
Of course.
You know, so again, so if you start in a business, you think of all possible scenarios and how
Facts.
you deal with them, and you make sure you protect yourself, and you do whatever it is that you have to do to succeed.
Facts.
You know, I've had run-ins with musicians who actually worked with me,
Right.
you know, but whatever decision it is that I made where they were concerned that I was 100% certain that I was doing the right thing. And it wasn't only from my standpoint, but I'd also seek advice, even if it was
Right.
legal advice or personal advice from a best friend or something, you know. But I have learned to deal with situations, and a lot of musicians that I work with, we probably disagree on a lot of stuff.
Right.
You know, Colin and I disagree on a lot of stuff. You understand?
Right.
But is once you have that goal, you know, once you have that goal and you know you're heading for that finish line,
Right.
you do whatever it takes, and you have that respect. You know, and just like they have had the respect for me, I have the respect for them. You know, and that is what creates that strong working relationship. You know,
Right.
I want, because if I'm doing something and it is like I play a gig and then I ask somebody how it was, I will immediately tell them after, I want the buts. Don't tell me it was a good gig. Tell me what I could have done better, please.
Yep.
You know, because even in Fanatic or in the Kalin XP team, they would tell me, Cornell, enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
You know, let's talk about it tomorrow. Just enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
We would get off stage and I would talk about what it is that we did wrong and not
Yes.
necessarily what it is we did good.
Right.
You see, but patting ourselves on the back, yeah, but patting ourselves on the back so much doesn't make us better.
Right.
You know, if anything, it would make us relax and just be laid back and then be open to make the mistakes.
Facts.
You know, I want to know what I did wrong.
Yes.
Let me fix it. Let us fix it.
See, I like that mentality because I have the same mentality. Yes, we did it already. Yeah, you guys had fun. We sweat in. We good. Okay. Where did I mess up? Because tomorrow we back at it again.
Yep.
That's the way. Right. I like that. So we're running all the time. We probably got like 9 minutes left. So
I still waiting for you though.
You still waiting for me? Don't worry. I have 9 minutes. I have 9 minutes. So I actually have to agree with Colin, but so we went from Fanatic, and I guess you and Colin did P Square.
C Square.
C Square. My apologies. Right. C Square, and now from C Square, she's doing Colin XP.
Right. What happened is that because of I guess it's a combination of the fact that the big bands dominate the music industry in Dominica. The bands, not necessarily the
The
artists, but
artists,
the
right?
bands.
Right.
We talking band right now.
Mhm.
So it was a little difficult to get premium pricing for Fanatic because there was WCK, there was Triple K, and
Mhm.
I I think we have a problem in Dominica that we still charge too low. I not We still charge too low
For the
for
bands.
our talent.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
We do put enough value on our talent in Dominica, and I rather not play than give a man peanuts after playing for how many hours and going to the country and stuff like that.
Right.
And I am someone. If somebody plays for me, I want to know that I can pay you properly.
Right.
So
Right.
there came a time where the ban, though still in existence, was not working too much.
Mhm.
But me being self-employed, I needed I needed to earn some kind of income,
Right. Of course.
Right.
So I got the opportunity to, I can't remember how exactly it happened, but I ended up playing for very small gigs. And I would
Mhm.
be very careful which gigs I would play. I would never take a gig that Fanatic could do.
Okay.
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 So Colin and I would go and play for a happy hour in a
Right.
small bar, places that Fanatic would never. I never took a gig I never put C Square, or it was Colin and Cornell at the time. It was in C Square. It eventually became C
C
Square,
square. Right.
but I would never put um, uh, Colin and myself on a stage that could fit Fanatic,
Mhm.
because that would be a conflict of interest, and I would see that would be a disrespect
Yeah.
to
To the
the
rest of the members.
musicians, to,
Right.
my fellow
Understood.
musicians,
Yeah.
Right.
you know. So I started to do these gigs, and then people started to take notice again. Carlin was coming on the scene, and started to get popular. So we needed a name, so we started to call ourselves C Square.
Mhm.
And then I was saying to myself, but there's so much, there is so far that C Square can go,
Right.
and looking at the trend right now, even in the Caribbean, is not bands anymore, but it's artists.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So I decided it's time for us to focus on building the brand
Right.
of Carlin XP. So I started to push Carlin XP, and I couldn't wait for the day when Carlin XP could stand on her own. I didn't
Right.
I Because every time you spoke of Carlin XP, Cornell Phillips follows.
Mhm.
After Cornell Phillips follows, WCK follows. So I wanted Carlin XP as an artist to stand on her own, and then we started with the artist development of Carlin XP.
Right.
Round of applause. I think you're on the right track. I think I can speak for the Dominicans and others in the Caribbean watching right now and say, Colin, next week, keep doing what you're all doing. It's 1,100% representation of good vibes.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, man. Positively.
Yeah, but I've watched Colin grow, and I don't. You know what? I'm just gonna be straight. How has the reception been with the bands around you guys, though? Because there was a time when I'm sitting there in Canada and I'm watching these bands go out and do their thing, and I watched this one show. I'm not sure if you guys were in Spain or somewhere in the.
In Belgium,
Okay, that was a hell of a concert.
right,
And I saw that and I was like, yeah, I think she's ready now. And then COVID happened. And
right.
then this now is happening.
Yeah.
So it's not like I saw this coming, but I remember watching that concert and I'm like, yeah, I think a door just like busted open right there. So how
Yeah.
has the reception been with, fellow musicians or artists around you guys?
Um, there to us from our perspective, and I say
Mhm.
perspective because a
Right.
perspective is what you think.
Oh yeah.
Is
Yeah.
never is what you think is not
Yeah, it's not accurate.
is not necessarily accurate.
Right.
Right.
It has its ups and downs.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, I accept the fact that all musicians, all bands, all artists have their own hustle.
Right.
I have my own hustle.
Hmm.
And my hustle, or I should say our hustle, might step on certain toes,
Right.
non intentionally,
No, it's a business.
but I respect everyone's hustle, and there is there is still a level of immaturity when it comes to us as a music industry in Dominica,
Hmm.
and I cannot wait for the day where that is no more. And when I
Right.
say I can't wait for the day, I'm not talking about when the present crop of musicians, artists get older.
Hmm.
I speak of when the mindset is changed.
Yeah.
You become a musician, you start young, you take it seriously, you do what it is that you have to do. You work a 9 to 5
Hmm.
as a musician artist. You don't work in the bank and then you come home tired and you're doing music as a hobby. And
True.
after you do have to charge premium price because you're making your money somewhere else already.
Right.
You check? I can't
Hmm.
wait for the day when that mentality changes,
You and I
you
both.
know?
Hmm.
But it is changing. I think things are better. I can remember that Fred Nicholas and myself were probably the only two full-time musicians in Dominica, living in Dominica,
All right.
and that is changing right now,
Yeah.
and it's time for us to appreciate what it is that we do as musicians.
Facts.
Take it seriously and earn a living from it. And if we earn together, we'll earn a lot more.
Right.
Organize and
Right.
You see?
centralize. Period.
Right. And I can only speak for myself and Colin. We don't discriminate against artists.
Right.
We probably have our own opinions that we will speak of,
Of course, everybody
but
does.
we will. I mean, I won't bring down an artist to elevate myself.
Right.
Even on musical therapy, if we haven't invited an artist to musical therapy, a notable artist for the theme at the time,
Right.
if we haven't invited somebody, either we forget or they said no.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
It happens, right?
Okay, but I mean, we have invited eh, everybody.
Right.
Everybody that fits the current theme or the current season. We
Mhm.
have reached out to. We never discriminate. We never discriminate. If somebody can do that job, if they are the best person to do it,
Right.
I think I'm in a position where I can approach. I mean, if Dong to Ra, we have asked to come on musical therapy,
Right.
because at the end of the day, it is not about my personal relationship with Ra.
Right. It's
It's
Right.
about the music industry, it's about business, it's about getting
yeah,
paid.
yeah, the bigger picture. Nice.
It's about the bigger picture. That's what it's about.
Agreed. Agreed.
Facts.
Mhm.
Before I get to my well, I got two more questions for you. But Kaza, do you have anything of Facebook you want to share before we get out of here? No? Yeah.
Nothing too much on Facebook, honestly.
Okay.
With the response on Facebook alone, um, I think we probably should just bring Cornell back for a
You
second
can't keep
show.
up.
No,
You
I
can't keep
can't.
up.
I got a couple questions in mind, and he's answered a couple things where things I would
Right.
probably lean on concerning the industry already. So I get tuned in, right, like everybody else on the outside.
Right.
But honestly, if with your permission,
Look,
and I think Novelist wouldn't disagree, I think we should bring you back for a second show because you're touching on some things here. We are leaning into the quality of where we're at now, how the
Mhm.
industry is set up now, and where we're going forward from now. And I think that's a broader conversation for maybe another time. And if with your
yes.
permission, I think you definitely we'd like to have you back. And if anybody is on the outside that agrees with DJ Kaza right now, just send a fire, burn a fire, or send a hand clap. You understand? But I think you've touched on so many good points. Without taking away anything from what you're saying, I think it's a broader conversation to probably bring you back at a more comfortable time when you're ready again. Because we know you're on tour, doing the big thing, big. I looking forward to the next show. So
So
Uh,
before my hash question to you,
mhm.
how do you feel about Booyah music currently now? Like where it is? Do you feel it's in a good place? It could be better. Well, everything could improve and get better, right? But where do you feel? How do you feel about Booyah music now?
You see,
musically,
yep. Hmm.
musically,
Music,
I have no problem.
right,
I have no problem. Not to say that I wouldn't do things differently,
right,
but as an artist, I respect everyone's craft.
right.
And
Right.
Understood.
there are so many different minds and so many different aspects to the music. You know, if somebody does this one way, I may do it differently, but I respect what they do musically.
Right.
Um, that being said, something that I have learned in a song, when the song starts, what drives you to the song is the music.
Yes.
It either be the groove, the the explosive intro,
Yep.
the chord arrangement. What
Hmm.
drives you towards that song starts with the music.
Right.
What keeps you to this song is the musical content,
Facts.
as the lyrical content.
Lyrical.
I'm
Yes.
sorry,
Yeah.
right? The lyrical content.
Hmm.
What will make that song last for hundreds of years to stand the test of time is the lyrical content. And
Yes.
that is where I have the problem, right? Because we presently live in a world where vice is king.
You're right.
You
You know
understand?
what? You know what? I gonna. You know what, Novi? If you allow me, I think we're
Well,
gonna. I
Kaza,
think
we
we're
press
gonna
on
reel
time.
in. We really gonna reel in Cornell, right? Yeah, we're gonna. If Nika has any questions before we go, but right there, my brother, and the response we got on Facebook, with your permission, we'd love to have you back. I
Okay,
think they're
sure.
still burning the fire. So let me just back up my co-host and be real because we're leaning into some really good stuff and we don't want to captivate, but we really want. I really want to say, man, thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing the knowledge that you have this evening for sure.
Right, sure.
I think a lot of people out there right now watching feels the same way. You know,
No problem.
But over to you,
Anytime you want
novelist,
me back.
because we know that we are pressed for time and so. But
So we'll,
um,
we'll definitely try to get Connell back. We press for time. We gotta go. But Connell, in
You.
1998. Well, no, let me go back. Let me go back. Let me sit down. In 1996, they said a young guy came to Dominica and his name, they call him novelist, right? No, this guy was going in everybody's studio. I mean, Ophelia studio, Jared studio. No matter who it was, caught, and this guy was walking in there, doing what he do, and walk out the door. Nobody ever say, do it again. That's it. Nothing. And in 1997, this guy walked into your studio for, I think, the second time, but the first time recorded.
mhm.
Same confidence, walk in the booth. We're doing a song called Me and My Crew.
I remember that.
Yo, you remember?
I remember this song. I remember
You
this
remember the
song. The
song?
song.
Okay. So, to give everybody the quick story, confident me walks in Cornell's studio. Now, I'm somebody who look up to Cornell, Ra, and those guys because I actually listened to CK before I wrote anything. Walked in there confident. Me and my crew did my verse. No, I didn't. I lie. I sat there and it was my turn to go. And Cornell words was exactly, oh, novelist. Boy, you are waiting to hear, because apparently there was a buzz about a guy named Novelist, and Cornell really wanted to know what this guy was about. Confident me went inside the booth, did my thing, popped my collar, walk out. Cornell Woods, that's it. I'm like, the nerve of this guy. So I went back in the booth And I did it again. I came back out. The man goes, that's all right. So at this point now, Novelist is starting to sweat because remember, I'm going to everybody's studio doing what I want and I'm out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Went back in the booth the third time to the point where the song actually needed a space. It actually created a space. It's like I think I forgot a line or something. And we're in there trying to figure out, okay, what can he say to fill out the song? So my partner just came up with a wise idea and he said, boy, Novelist, just say click, clack, boom, which we did. And we did the song. So Cornell, by the way, that I needed that, right? I say all that to say I needed that. Nobody really talked to me like that. It opened my eye to a whole different thing. And when I heard the song, I was like, that's why he did that. So it's not that I did not understand what you're doing, but Cornell, why you have to be so hard on me?
I think is my approach though. I tell it as it is. I mean, Carlin always tells me, Cornell, she always gives me that pep talk before I walk into a meeting or something.
Right.
You know, so I will say it as it is. And no one will walk into my studio, Carlin included, sing something once and then walks out and say that is it.
Right.
As good as it may have been, the fact that you just did it once,
right,
meaning it can be potentially 100 times better if you do it again. You see, because I can do a song in a day. You know, we just finished editing Colin's new music video for a song that she's releasing anytime now. And I edited the video in a day, and I'm going to look at that video for the next week or two. Because you have to give it time, you have to give things time to settle in.
Yes.
You know, you can't just walk into a studio, do something and walk out. No.
Facts.
No, because just continue doing it and develop it. Going inside there and singing it once doesn't mean that you developed it.
No.
You know, you depriving yourself of your possible potential in that lyric or in that performance that you do.
I'm afraid to ask you to rate Dissect. You stay that. Wow. Just
you know, you
but
have
no,
to do
you're
it
making
again.
a lot of sense.
You have to do it again.
Fair enough. That's
you know, so many times I myself have done songs and I finished the whole song and I actually have the intention. The song sounds great, but I build the song, I do the vocals, background vocals, bass guitar, blah, 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 this, that, with the intention to go back and redo everything that I do. I did. Well, mostly everything that I did. If it's a ballad that I play a piano and stuff like that, after the whole song is developed, I will go back and I will play that piano over again. Because by that time, I have a better understanding of the song as a complete work of art.
Right. Nice.
You know, so then even sometimes after I would bring in the musicians again. Sometimes I'll call Chad, my partner, to come back and play the guitar.
Right.
You know, I can remember Sally Bue, Gomez Drago played the bass on that song, and the bass was great. But after this song was developed, I asked him, well, whilst we were developing this song, I sent him an updated version of what I did, and I told him, see what he can work out with that, you know, and let us develop this song, you know, is a developing process. It's not just coming in, hearing it once, and after you just do a performance on it, and then that is it.
Right.
You know, because it is art, you know, it is not typing a word and you know that's how that word spells.
Right.
You know, is a painting, is a canvas that you can do anything on it.
True.
You know, so you develop that canvas. You know, you can imagine a canvas is a white piece of paper, and you're going to put paint on it. You have no idea what you're going to come up with. And if you do something the first time and it looks great, okay, what could I have done
to make it better?
Yeah. You know, and just looking at it, you step back, you look at it. In my case, you listen to it, and you just start to think, and you just start to develop, and you go back into it, and you go back into it, and eventually you must reach a point where you say, okay, enough is enough.
Yep, that's
It
it.
is ready.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do that, you will never finish.
Yeah, you
will
keep
never,
going.
never,
Right.
never
Right.
finish.
I was
But
actually gonna ask you: is a musician ever satisfied with his final work? But
yes, because at the end of the day, well, at the end of a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20
right.
years, if you listen to this song that you haven't heard in such a long time that you even forget that it exists,
Mhm.
and you cannot say, wow, that means you failed.
Yeah.
You understand?
True.
Because I mean, I've been listening to WCK on my past work, and I go like, what? WCK did that song? Even
Yeah.
the song you were playing before the program started.
Right.
I look at Colin and I tell Colin, boy, you hear that song that man playing there, boy, and I like, what? And then you're asking yourself if you would have produced that song today, not because you would have done it better or you wouldn't have done it like that at all, but you check in, boy, how did we come up with these ideas?
Yes.
Right.
How did we come up with these ideas? And we came up with these ideas because we spent time developing these ideas.
Right.
So novelist walking into my studio, and every other artist, including Dice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I have called Dice back in to the studio and have him sing the whole song over. You understand?
Sorry.
I
Guys, if
mean,
you're listening right now, this is a true story.
if
Yes,
I
sir.
know Dice,
Yes,
then
sir.
the boy wasn't too happy.
Well, probably at first, but Dice understands, and
Right.
me and Dice and I have a mutual respect for each other.
Nice.
Dice would come and Dice would tell me, he want that, and he was looking for this for me and this and that. And then he would come back in the studio, he'd listen and he would vibes with it. Then we would have Pat on a conference call, and Pat would tell me, boy, yeah, but do that like that. 99% of the time, Pat is right,
All right.
but is his song, which is
Right.
another
It's great.
aspect of the whole thing, is he knows what he's looking for. So
Sure.
if he tells me that he doesn't like something that I did, which seemed great to me, but
Mhm.
he wants to try a different approach, yes, let's go for it. I'll save the first version as a backup, and let's go for it. After it is done, we'll compare the both of them, and then we come to a determination as to which one to use.
Nice.
Right.
And that is the reason why Dice has 9 crowns.
Mhm.
You understand? Because I mean, of the time spent, I mean, every single Calypsonian that I've worked with, who has won a crown, they didn't just come in the studio and just do it one
Understood.
time and bap bap and now we go. We spend time on the song, and
Right.
not necessarily the mood of the song, not necessarily the music of the song, but the mood we want to create on the song, the psychological effect that we think we want to bring across to the listening audience and stuff
Right.
like that. All that is determined in the studio as a producer.
Nice.
So novelist can't think he coming in the studio and just singing and walking out.
Yes, sir. Give thanks for that.
Uh, on that note, Cordell, I want to thank you, man, for joining us, and it was fun. You know what I mean? Educational as usual. Hopefully we do this again whenever you get some free time.
Just tell me when.
I
I
will.
mean,
I will.
something I tell people is that I work for myself, so there's no downtime. I'll find something to do.
Right.
Right.
I'll find something
Um,
to do. So just tell
So
me when.
nice. So tomorrow, musical therapy. What theme? What theme we're looking for tomorrow?
I think the theme is a Bohemian theme.
I was gonna say it
Okay.
was an island therapy
What?
theme, but all right.
Bohemian. Okay.
Bohemian theme. All right.
Yeah. So peace and love, man.
Nice.
Right.
So
Come
you're
on,
Well,
right. You know what I mean?
you checking me? Yes,
So
sir.
we start at 4 our local time in the States, in Canada, 5
right.
in Dominica.
Right.
It's going to be great.
Right. As usual.
We're preparing already.
Right.
We already have the place well prepared, and
Nice.
I'll be getting up at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning to set up, and you know. And that's the next thing. I can afford to put time into it because that is what I do.
Nice.
You understand? That is my job.
Right.
That is my
Right.
job. So I start at 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
and
Full day's work.
tomorrow I end at 8.
Yeah.
You understand?
Full day's work.
Full day's
Good
work.
schedule.
You know, so yeah, so tomorrow is that, and also, well, we spoke about the 11th, the Black Chic in
Right.
the Bronx
Yes.
on
Yes.
the 11th of December. We also planning our Christmas special. The date is December 26th, Sunday, December 26th, Boxing Day.
Nice.
So that is something that you can look out for. It is a paid event. It will be a paid event.
Okay.
What else? There are so many things.
The-
We have
the-
a
the mu-
new
the music
single
vid-
that we're going to release soon enough.
Right. The music video you're working on.
The music video that we're working on.
Nice.
I'm very satisfied with it,
Okay.
you know, and there's a lot to expect from Colin XP.
Nice.
There's a lot to expect from Musical Therapy, from the Colin XP brand. You know,
Right.
we have the merch, we have the music, everything is
Yes.
available for everybody, you know, and yeah.
Right.
Can we expect Dissect to get a cameo in the next music video?
You have to go na casa.
No, I just put in a sound there. We just need a
Yeah.
2 second frame, you know how it going.
If
Free.
we,
How I looking? All right.
who knows? Who knows? You can never
Right.
tell. It depends, you know, who knows? But I mean, that is how we collaborate, you know.
Right.
You scratch my back, I scratch yours, you know, let's see what we can do together.
Yes.
You
Nice.
know,
Right.
Dissect is a platform that I think that we can, you know, we can take advantage of, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Of course.
Yes,
Just
sir.
like you
course.
can take advantage, you know?
Of
sir.
course.
I mean, taking advantage, I purposely say taking advantage to mean a good thing, because in everything you do in business, you have to think of what you get out of it,
Of course.
you know? And
Of
even
course.
if getting something out of it is as simple as you just doing something for novelists. You
Yeah.
know, they call me and they tell me novelists want me on Dissect. I haven't spoken to novelists. Yeah, sure, why not? He has his
Right.
program, sure, I can come on his program.
Right.
You know, to
You
be
know?
honest, he was talking about you all week. I don't tell nobody.
you
He was talking about you all week.
know, it's not always
So-
about the money, it's about the networking, it's about
Yeah.
building
That's-
of relationships, and then everything will follow.
That is
You
right.
know, everything will follow.
Nice. So again, sir, thank you for joining us. We look forward to having you again. You guys go ahead and support Colin XP. Check out the website. That's colinxp.com, right?
ColinXP.com, and you will also see the links on the bottom left to Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram pages. The
Right.
merch is there, the music is there. Just go, ColinXP.com is the one-stop shop for everything Colin XP.
Everything. Yeah.
Everything.
Get that booyah water. All right, Connor. We'll talk soon.
Oh man.
We'll talk soon, man. Thanks for joining us again.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem. That was the man Connor Phillips, former member of WCK, Fanatic Band, C Square, and of course the husband of Colin XP. Next week, another beautiful show right here on Dissect, TDN Radio, Islands Therapy. We will see you guys next week, man. Thank you guys for joining us. Hope you guys enjoyed the program. Subscribe to Islands Therapy on YouTube and follow TDN Radio and TDN TV on Facebook. All right. See you guys next week. Godspeed.
Yeah.
Whew, boy Charlie.
Are we still alive, man? What do you mean?